Hey everyone, so digging into my next model, and just really looking forward to this one a lot. So it's a 1 to 5,000 Bandai Star Wars Star Destroyer, obviously. You can see there. And this particular model, although that's mostly what it is, it does actually include the little Blockade Runner and a little Millennium Falcon as well to scale. So, I mean, they're extremely tiny, I would imagine, here. But yeah, it looks great. As usual with Bandai, you can, I don't know how much you can see through the plastic there, but it does have a nice amount of detail here, and will really be able to use some nice panel work here, and to get some of the panel and weathering looks, I think is going to be great. I anticipate they'll be using 1001 shades of pastel. Obviously have some base paints, and then be using some pastels to get some of the looks that I'm looking for. There's a lot of detail. It's actually really a beautiful model, actually. Just the way that it's been molded. And I think I'm not sure if you can see it there or not, but I mean, it's got an incredible amount of built-in panel detail. So there's a lot of trenching here that will take pastel really, really nicely, especially with a nice matte paint. So I'm very comfortable doing that. I've done that lots, and I just know that'll look great. And so I'm going to be using a method where I, and there's mostly, there is actually some shading. If you look here, these are not all perfect gray, but they're by and large that darker gray. So what I think I'm going to do is lay down sort of the darker gray everywhere. I think it's going to work perfectly for this, my panels. So that'll go down first. And then I'll be laying all my little the little pieces here to get my sort of the Aztec paneling, and then of course it'll get white or just off white. I'm planning on, well, they recommend on the main body that it's mostly 75% white, and then just a light gray at 25%. So it's going to be just off white, which is what I really want. And then that gives me a little bit of more leeway here with, of course, the Blockade Runner is similar, but only 50% of that white, 45% of the light gray, and then just a little bit of yellow in there. So it is just slightly yellowed. It kind of almost gives it a bit of more of a tan color, which I really like. And then, of course, with a little bit of red there, and then the Millennium Falcon, of course, mostly a good portion. It's actually similar, but just a little grayer than the Imperial gray here. So that's the plan. There's only one way they can go, because if you tried to go the other way, it won't fit. So they must come down here like this and kind of plug into the little slots there, and then the same on this side. Basically, the last step is then to just, it actually gets placed in here. Got the holes here, and then the front. Yeah, just like that. Very nice, and you can see lots of gap there for the light to come through. Lovely. Yep, that's perfect. I'm just going to attach one of the stickers here, so let's just start on a corner here. can see how that's going to look, and see that there is a fairly good amount of light that can come through there, and it's going to actually, you can't, actually I guess you can see how that's going to shine down the walls. Really nice and kind of a really neat effect. You can also see that I've got a lot of, here we do have a lot of bleeding there along the roof, so those are areas that we'll definitely want to be fixing. Along there as well, do you see all the way along this ridge? You can see like that absolutely should not be there. I don't know if you can see that very good in this light. Can you see that? It's like, it's too light, but if I turn it away, yeah, you can see it there just a little bit. So those need to be filled in. So if we look on the back side, that's right along there. So it's just in this area along here we want to put in. So what I'll do, I'm just going to actually do that right now over here just to show you a demo of that. Just shake my tulip up here a little bit. So I'm just going to add the tulip, and so it's right along in this gap right along here. There, so just like that. So you can see it's kind of just a pasty, kind of thick paint that's great for little seams like that. So now let's just try a little bit of a light test. Let's flip that back over and just check here. And so now you can see it's there's no longer any light coming through there at all. It's pitch. So remember, it was just right on this spot right here. So just kind of watch along this ridge. That's what we just taped, and that's a very bright light and absolutely zero light. So you can see how efficient tulip is just with a little bead like that. So so working tonight on a little bit more of the lighting, and just looking at more detail, especially, well, a couple things. So obviously the bay has been a big one, as you know, or may know. I've been kind of working at getting sort of the lighting. I have the basic lighting, which is pretty okay. It's kind of coming in, and it looks okay. What I'll do is actually just shut off the lights here. There, that's a little better. And then if I plug the lights at the back, kind of, it gives you a sense of what we're looking. Just have some. I did all the fill in here to make sure I've removed all any kind of cracks, any seams of light, so it's just nice and focused just in the areas where you would expect it, sort of along these the top gaps here. So overall, that's great. The issue really is just that this little hangar, the part that's open, there's actually two hangars here. If you look at the beginning of Star Wars Episode 4 as it's flying past, and you look up under there's actually both of these hangars are actually open, and there's light coming from them. So we only just have the one open, the one's closed, but the one that is open should have light coming out. So what I did was I added a little SMD light in there for now. I'll just show you kind of where that is. So inside here, up underneath here, I've just got it taped in right now, and it's just a little really tiny little surface SMD light, LED that's just shining in there, and it's really, really tiny. As I mentioned already, I do have a little SMD, actually one of these little guys. These are just great, inexpensive but incredibly powerful little guys here. So I just grabbed one of these, and very, very, very tiny, and just some steady hand soldering this onto the wires here, and just for now I've just got it taped in there, but it's going to be obviously I'm going to be crazy gluing that into place here. Actually, let me just pull it out here and I'll just show you what that looks like. Right, so there's that. Oops, it came out on me. Easy enough to put them back, thankfully. And there it is. So there's the little SMD, the way I've got it currently just taped into place here, but looks like that. And so yeah, you can see, and that's just a little guy, and he just shines right up in there, and it's working just like a charm. I don't know if you can actually see that. I'll just actually tape it back here so you can have a better look at how that's positioned. Essentially just like that. Let me plug that in for you. Yeah, that's it. So you can see how it's just nicely, I'm not sure if you can see that there, just nicely positioned, kind of perfectly shining in there, and then everything kind of just nicely lays down on top. This, as you could see, kind of comes in under here, and everything, and then we'll just add that to the other 12-volt higher light, and that's giving me the ability now to be able to essentially shine a little bit extra light up in there. So let's just put this back together here, and that. And so when I plug that in for now, I've just got it. It's just a little. It hooks up to 12 volt as well with the resistor I've got in line here, and it's I think a 3-volt bulb, and that little SMD is tiny but bright, and there you can see it now shining there with that. I just feel it just gives it that extra, and it's kind of just a nice brightness there where it actually even illuminates the little sky hook there, which again was pretty accurate if you actually do watch that little bit where we get the closest view up in here. I think you'll see that kind of matches it pretty nice. As for the lights at the back, I have been working quite a bit on the engine. Let me just turn the lights back on here. I could see with this piece what that's kind of going to look like, because we know that this, the proposed way that this is going to work is that this kind of sits down in there like that, and kind of comes up through like that. And so what I'm interested in seeing is how much light, like how bright does that turn out to be, and is it at a level that I'm kind of happy with and I'm willing to go with. And so this is helping me be able to just have a look in here and see where we're at. So let me just pull one of these, and you can see that using this, the middle bulb is pretty bright. You know, I could probably do slightly better by just inserting it directly into this spot like that, and that is definitely brighter. I don't know if you can, I'm not sure how well you're able to see that actually. And so that does have some advantages. And if you watch, actually, again, episode 4, just at the beginning, just the 3 lights are on. These 4 don't appear to be burning whatsoever. At least to my eyes, there's no light coming out of them. And so in some ways, it'd be more accurate not to use this piece and not to light these 4. I am sort of shooting for accuracy of that first Star Destroyer that we saw there. And so really to achieve that, I think where I'm going with this is I'm actually thinking about not putting this, but also not flooding all these lights, just lighting up the 3 main cones. They do appear to be the ones that are, really lit and shining pretty brightly on my reference that I'm wanting to reproduce here. And I think that'll give as it turns out, a really nice result. They're really nice and bright. A little bit of reflective paint down in there. And we'll have a pretty nice bright, especially, turn the lights off here. Oops. Let me just show you what that's. So you can see how much will come through on the engines, which they look like this. We're just in the paint booth, actually. All this painting was down inside. You can see now. I just wanted a nice reflective silver, so I sprayed in my chrome silver down into there. So now it's nice and reflective actually inside. You can't really tell. It's kind of nice because it's going to look more or less silver if the lights aren't on, or just the same kind of gray. But actually, it's pretty reflective. Kind of looking here just to see now that I've got it kind of put together. And as you would expect, there's like 1,000 little cracks, especially you know, along each of the edges where a platform came in. You know, it's pretty good, actually. Don't get me wrong. It's as usual, Bandai, you know, really well built and just so precisely engineered. But as with any of this kind of thing, you know, here again, you can see it along there, and of course along this seam. When I shine my light under there, you can, and along this back area quite a bit. So I'm going to be putting some work in, just like we did on the main section, to just seal all that in. And then I've been working on this one as well, and so got it pretty much. This, if you recall, had a lot of quite a lot of cracks here, or seams. Still can see a bit up here, so there's a spot right there actually. Let's just fill that one in as well here. There we go. Working on this back area, and so had it glued together and pressed these down as far as I could. And there was quite a lot of, when you shine the light in behind, there was lots of different sources of bleed, even just the basic cracks between, you know, kind of at the core, and then quite a bit above too, if you ran kind of just above and from below. And anyway, so you can see where lots has been sealed kind of inside along there, so it's nice and snug and tight, and looking good. And then on the back sides here, you can see where I had to use the tulip in various spots here to top and bottom, to kind of just make sure that I've got sorry, that shouldn't be there, to make sure that I've got the everywhere where there was a little bit of a seam covered over there, so there's no at this point no bleed. The light top and bottom is completely clear. There's nothing coming through here at all. Hey guys, so as I think I mentioned, I'm just going to lay down some of my tape and make my little mask. So I just thought I'd just show you how I did that. I already did the underside. It's already been masked and painted. And so you can see, and I've just removed those actually just a little earlier this morning. Really loving how that's looking. It's going to get a nice dusting again of my base color, and just we'll soften those down just a little bit. But this is what we're going to reproduce now on the top sections, both on the sort of riser part here that goes up to the bridge section, and just the top of the regular main fuselage there. So let me just... So the way I did that, just got a couple of strips of this sized Tamiya tape here, and just kind of lay them out like that. I did a couple of rows just to get some different sizes, and I'm going to want a little extra here because I might, there's a little bit extra here, so I'm just going to do three pieces here. Like that. So that was the first step, and then really all I did is just go through, and nothing sophisticated here at all. Just really just started cutting various sizes, trying to keep them straight. That's the big thing, and kind of not too huge. Various sizes. I want you know, some that are a little thicker, some that are a little thinner, this kind of thing. So just generally, though, I want kind of a certain, that thickness right there that I just did. That seemed to work pretty good, but a couple thicker ones are nice too, and even a couple thinner ones. Okay, something like that. And then what I did, just took my ruler, and on a couple of these, just used various sizes. So I don't want them all to be this exact length. On one here, I just kind of went down, more or less down the middle, but I don't go all the way, go like about that far. And then maybe on this one, on this part, I'll come down a little bit narrower and come down maybe something like that. This one, I'll go even narrower, actually, maybe down to, actually on this one, I'm just going to leave it just normal like that. And on this one, I'll do a couple options here. I'll kind of come down about this thickness for some of it, and then maybe a little bit even narrower here, something like that. So that's what I did. And so now I've got really simple. I've got just a whole ton of way more than I'll need of masking material that is kind of set here for laying down. So I'm just going to start on the front section here. I'm just get us started here. So I want on the very front here, I'm going to use a littler narrow, kind of slightly narrower one. Actually, that's a little longer than I want. I want a fairly narrow one that's about this size. So grab that guy. And I want him, in this case, I'm just going to put him right up here. The other big thing here is that I want to be changing these up a little. So that's fine for there. But then I've got a nice smaller size right below that. So we'll just grab that piece off and maybe use that right here. That kind of idea. So really that simple. Actually, let me just zoom in there a little bit. Really that straightforward and simple. And then, as you know, I have the one longer ones here. So then now I can go in and actually do sometimes, if I want a nice longer panel, I have that capability now with this sized like that. Big thing here, as with the other one, is make sure these are really, so I kind of work them. I constantly be kind of just pressing them down and make sure they're nicely down. This tape is great. This is just regular Tamiya tape, and it seems to have a really good stick. I am using just a cardboard that's got a gloss finish, which seems to work okay. Doesn't if you use this side, I feel you lose some of the adhesion, whereas on the glossy side it seems to be okay. You could use anything though, glass or something you've got handy, but this is something I have handy. Anyway, so then it's just gonna be a matter of just picking various pieces and trying to achieve a level of kind of that elusive random panel effects, right, where you don't want it to look too much the same, that you want some variation in the way that it's going to look. And the other thing that we want to do, as I did on the top one, is do a bit of compound panel work. So in this case, say I want that one to look more like that, actually not fuzzy on that, like that, more like that. There, so you can see now that's going to make a nice L mask. And we certainly saw that if you look at, the original model, there's some pretty very compound. I tried to actually duplicate that on the back end. You can see where I tried to grab some of these bigger shapes, which we definitely saw. And so that's something I'll be doing again up here as well. These sort of bigger shapes. I'll be doing the same. Just a matter of kind of just laying it out and just using various sizes and just trying to get a certain level of coverage that matches what I've got on the this side. So it's kind of it's not an exacting thing, but I want it to look similar density wise. So I'll always be comparing. Probably have that one sitting out here as I'm going and just trying to get a similar density and complexity kind of look to things so that it's consistent top and bottom. I want them to look basically the same. That's what I'm going for.